Welcome everybody. I'm super excited to get into the buffs and changes for Lumineon, a sadly extremely underwhelming and forgettable Pokemon. But before I can get into that, I want to have a little disclaimer to check out the description below and look at all of the move buffs and changes in the Google Sheets, which is again linked in the description below. That was a very roundabout way of saying that, but it's a little bit late. So yeah, just make sure you check that out. It's very important if you are new here and you have yet to do so. Every move is buffed or changed in this hack, and not to mention there's like 130 plus custom brand new ones, so those are all really important. But with that being said, we have really cool stuff with Lumineon. It's an incredible Pokemon now. Let me switch tabs real quick. It's awesome. The Water Fairy typing is a pretty self-explanatory type change in my opinion. Yeah, Water Flying could have worked, but Lumineon isn't so much the flying fish as Finneon is. They still have flying type moves though, which are great with both of their abilities actually, with Swift Swim going. Swift Swim being great with Hurricane, and then of course your stab moves and all these great coverage stuff and all kinds of other fun stuff. But what am I trying to say here? Water Fairy typing it's a very good typing. We already know that from mons like Primarina and stuff, and it's just a very solid typing. Yeah, it does have more weaknesses than Pure Water does and Pure Fairy does, but weaknesses are not really the end of the world, especially when you have dual stab and all that other fun stuff. Yeah, that's really great for Lumineon. Its stats were so weird. I don't know why the fuck they gave it equal offenses of 69. Haha, so funny. So yeah, it's much stronger, excuse me, and bulkier, and it is a little bit faster. However, 96 speed is great with stuff like Quiver Dance, Lunar Dance, and Swift Swim, and Agility for earlier in the game. And then later, of course, you get Quiver Dance, and then even later you get Lunar Dance. Lunar Dance has Quiver Dance's old effect, while Quiver Dance is just special attack and speed, which is still incredible, obviously. It's just because Quiver Dance is on way more Pokemon now, so I have to be careful with the Spadef boosting effect. And I also just like this better, so it's like Special Dragon Dance. But yeah, in the vanilla games, it makes sense for Quiver Dance to be that good because nothing gets it, but in this game, a lot more things get it. So yeah, and also all the Pokemon that already got it before are better. But yeah, Quiver Dance, all that stuff is great. And then Swift Swim is great. Keep in mind in this ROM hack, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can and should be switching between your abilities. So for one boss fight or one Swift Swim, keep in mind that Finneon has Storm Drain, while Luminescent on Lumineon is much. Man, I am so bad with wording things today. Finneon has Storm Drain because Lumineon can only abuse Luminescent. That's like a weird tongue twister. Because Luminescent gives you a 10% accuracy boost, okay? Which is incredible. He has tons of inaccurate moves to abuse that become 99% accurate or better or worse. You have tons of great stuff. So your best Luminescent move, you can argue, at least in terms of like utility, is Dreamy Kiss, which goes from 85% accurate to 94. You can see here there's a very detailed guide as to what Luminescent does and all the inaccurate. This is also a list of all the inaccurate moves in the hack, by the way. There's not that many. Every other move besides this is 100% accurate. So yeah, that's super awesome. Or even more than 100%. But yeah, it's super sick. Dreamy Kiss is great. That's very late game, and that gives you guaranteed setup because not only do you have that 94% accurate sleep, also if you slap on a wide lens, that's a guaranteed sleep, which is really, really powerful. But most importantly, sleep always lasts for 2 turns, which might be considered a nerf, but in actuality, it's a buff because you can consistently abuse that one free turn. So it's more of like a balancing thing. So you can click Dreamy Kiss and then put them to sleep, and then you have one guaranteed Lunar Dance or Quiver Dance or Agility, depending on what point you are in the game. Although by the time you learn Dreamy Kiss, you'll have Quiver Dance. So yeah, you can get a free Quiver Dance off, and that's incredible. You can also run Calm Mind if you want. You do have reliable recovery with Rehydrate, which like almost every water type has for healing. So yeah, that's awesome for healing with bulkier sets. You do have great special defense as well, and a solid physical defense stat. With investment, you can definitely take some hits with like Lunar Dance and Max Fizz Death. You can be really tanky. But coverage-wise, it has Stab, Hydro Pump, Torrential Pulse, and Bubble Burst, all of which go from 90 to 99% accurate with Luminescent. And then you have Whirlpool, which goes from, I believe it's 85 to 93, Whirlpool is incredibly strong, and that traps the opponent, does residual damage and stuff now, all that fun stuff. And then you have coverage moves like Blizzard, Hurricane, and Flash Cannon, and Arrow Blast. All of those are inaccurate moves that become more accurate with Luminescent. That's really nice to have. You can pair those with like a wide lens, something like Hurricane or Blizzard, and those will never miss. But with just flat out Luminescent, those go from 85 to 93. So those are still great moves. I mean, that's over almost 95% accurate. Those are totally That's totally fair given how powerful those moves are. You also have dual stat priority in the form of Bubble Shot and Pixie Dust, as well as coverage priority. And not a lot of Pokemon get priority coverage moves, besides like TMs like First Impression and Sucker Punch. But you know, Finneon is cool, and I already learned Silver Wind and Gust, so I figured just let it keep Gust and Silver Gale in this case, which is cool for coverage and stuff. And then you have great utility, you know, stuff like Tickle, Charm, Haze, Z Soak, which gives you +2 special attack, and that's great for totems. You know, all kinds of really fun things to abuse. Disarming Voice, Aurora Beam, drop opponent's special attack stats by 2. You have other great coverage moves like Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Signal Beam. You really got everything you could ever want. It's just a great fucking Pokemon. And that's really fun because Lumineon was so underwhelming. There are a lot of other Water Fairy types in this hack. In fact, the other week I was going through all of the planned type changes and just counting all of the Pokemon of specific types, and Water Fairy was actually pretty high up there, which is kind of funny. So yeah, it does face a lot of competition, but they all have their own unique things, with Lumineon being the only one with Swift Swim and also the only one with Luminescent. That's another thing I have to keep in mind, is to make sure that there's no overlap between abilities on Pokemon with the same typing. But yeah, that's really about it, honestly. It's just a great Pokemon, great buffs all around here for Lumineon. It's just strong and great utility, great offense, great abilities, great typing. It's just a fun, great buffs here. Hopefully you Lumineon likers or lovers out there are, I don't know why I worded it that way, but hopefully you people who like Lumineon are satisfied with these changes. I don't know why I said it that way. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not already. That'd be really nice if you are just a background listener. And then of course make sure you check out the changes below in the description. So yeah, thank you so much for that, and I'll be back for more. Bye.